Hello there, friends. It is Jimmy Maverick, and it is almost the end of draft season, which kind of makes me sad, but it's great because it means the regular season is about to start. Starts Thursday, but I myself still have a couple drafts to go, so there's still a lot of stuff happening, and I'm going to do a mock draft right now on Yahoo. This is a half-point PPR 12-team league. I'm picking 8th. All right, so we're going to see what kind of team we can build, and obviously a lot of stuff has been happening this week. We had some last-minute injuries. Jerick McKinnon. Am I glad that most of my drafts are happening now as opposed to 2 weeks ago when most everybody drafted. So if you still have leagues happening, good for you. Kudos for you. So we're going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to get this thing started. And because the draft is already started, I'm just going to get it set up right now. So we're going to do a 12-team, picking 8th. Go ahead and enter draft mode. And so this is my app. You can get it at ffmaverick.com. It's going to give you the edge you need to win your draft and draft the strongest team possible. Now, you can see here we got position filters, and down here, this is a draft mode. So this represents each round of the draft. And if we click on that, it's going to show us who the best players are because it shows you all the players, in this instance, between my first pick and my second pick. But instead of being sorted by their draft position, it's sorted by their value, right? So the most valuable players are at the top. You can see Alvin Kamara is at the very top. Now, his draft position is 7th, his expected draft position. So I do not expect to get him, but he could fall to me. If he does, I will take him. You can also see David Johnson. Obviously, he's not going to be available. But we got Julio Jones, Odell. But I really want to start out with a running back. And there's Saquon Barkley. He probably won't make it to us. Dalvin Cook, who I don't really like because of his injury issues, but Melvin Gordon is kind of my number one pick and the most likely guy I'm going to be able to snag at the 8th position. But we'll see what happens, right? So it's almost our pick now. Saquon's still sitting there. This guy could take DeAndre Hopkins. It can happen. No, he took Barkley. All right, so we're going to go with my first choice, Melvin Gordon. And I got to say, this season, if your plan is to take like a running back and a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds, take your running back first. You don't want to be caught with having to take an RB2 as your first pick, which is what's going to happen. Like if I waited till my next pick to take a running back, best I would get would be probably Howard or Freeman, Devontae Freeman, right? So I don't want either of them. But let's move on to the second round pick and see what we got. So right here at the top of the list would be Dalvin Cook again. So this is a guy that's like right on the cusp as far as his draft position is. But again, I'm just not excited about Dalvin Cook. I don't think he's a great option. We've got Devonta Freeman if we wanted to go running back, which is certainly a very valid strategy to take. I do like Devonta Freeman. I think he'd be a solid RB2. Or we could take Devontae Adams, who I love right now as being my top wide receiver. Plays with the best quarterback in the league. He's got a real opportunity here to really step up, and he's been so good the past few years. Just a touchdown machine, and that's totally what you need in this league to win. So I think I would absolutely take Devontae Adams first if he's still available. You got some other, Rob Gronkowski, he's okay. AJ Green I would consider. If I was going to go running back, I like Freeman. McCaffrey's right there too. So we've got some good options. So let's jump back here and see. Okay, it's just heading towards us very quickly. And, Freeman got taken, so that's kind of off the board, but there's Devontae Adams right there, and I love him. Michael Thomas is a guy who would be perfect as well. I love Michael Thomas, but he's probably not going to make it to us, but if he does, I would absolutely pick him over Devontae Adams. We can find Michael Thomas here. You can see his value is 13th, whereas Devontae Adams is 17th, so he's a better player. Oh, he might make it to us. We'll see. We'll see who Chris takes with his second pick. Come on, Chris, make a decision. Show me what you got. This is actually the draft I'm doing on Wednesday. I'm picking from the 8th position in a 12-team half-point PPR league. So this is really kind of like a warm-up for what's going to happen. He did take Michael Thomas, so that is not surprising. I am going to take my first choice, who is Devontae Adams, and I love that. Adams and Gordon as my first 2 picks. I love this team so far. So let's move on to the 3rd round. Now, let me just explain the columns that I want you to focus on when you're using my app. Of course, the first one I look at is the value column. I want value with every pick in the draft. And so I want players whose value is equal to or less than their draft position, right? Now, it looks like this round, everybody's pretty fairly valued. So there's not any steals in this round, but value, because we sort the list by value, all the most valuable players are at the top. So it kind of acts as kind of like just a sort. You look at the top of the list first, and then kind of make your way down, but you're going to find the best value players on top, like Joe Mixon. Consistency the outlook rating is a 5-star rating. Every player has both positive and negative criteria about them. I call it intangibles. Things about them, their situation, the kind of volume they're going to receive, coaching changes, did they switch teams, all stuff like that. Positive criteria add stars, negative criteria subtract stars. You want a player that has 4 or 5 stars on the outlook, although I do also consider 3-star players. All right, I like to stay away from the 1 and 2-star players though. Consistency, scale of 1 to 10. 10 is the best, obviously, and I like players with consistency above 5, and I don't really consider players with a consistency of 3 or less. I like to stay away from those players. All right. The next column is reliability. High reliability players I want. I'll consider medium reliability, but I stay away from low reliability players. All right. So that's kind of my criteria that I use when I'm going through these lists. But you can see that Joe Mixon is our top choice here for the second pick. I think that would be an outstanding choice with our third pick. And we could also see here where is Royce Freeman? Okay, Royce Freeman would be on the next round. But Joe Mixon offers the most value. 3-star outlook, 6 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. So that's pretty good, right? We got Juju Smith-Schuster, who has tremendous upside, right? He's a great wide receiver too. Nice value. 3-star outlook, not as great. 4 out of 10 consistency, not that great. Medium reliability, not that great. Okay, so I think we're going to pass on Juju here, but we got Larry Fitz right below that. Good value, 4 stars, 6 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. That's a great player. I like him. Golden Tate, 5-star rating, 8 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. I like him even more. The gold dollar means it's a contract year. By the way, if you want to find out what the columns or the symbols mean, just click on the legend button and it'll show you what all those things mean. But I love players on contract years. Below him, Amari Cooper, not great. I don't want to take a quarterback, Cam Newton. But this is showing you, like, if I wanted Cam Newton, okay, I better take him here in the 3rd round, because if I wait, he is not going to be available. So let's jump back here. We'll see what's going on. We still got 4 picks. All right, so it's heading towards us. Joe Mixon is sitting right there. I like the idea of going with another running back. I think that he certainly is the best choice for this particular round. The next best player would be Kenyon Drake, who has a 5-star rating, high reliability, but just terrible consistency. And I want to stay away from those guys. Low consistency means it's going to be tough to trust that guy on a week-to-week basis, right? He's going to be the guy that's going to get you 200 yards and 2 touchdowns one week and 26 yards the next week, right? He's going to be that kind of player, and those are the kind of players I want to stay away from. The more consistent, the better, the more I can rely on them to know that they are going to be playing. So, and Joe Mixon, by the way, has a primo matchup for Week 1 at the Colts. I think he's going to have a really great game. So, you can see Juju Smith-Schuster's right here, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, all these guys that we expected to be there are here. So let's go ahead and we'll take Joe Mixon with our second pick. And, we already looked at the next round, but Royce Freeman is sitting here. Should possibly be available for us at our next pick. So if we can get Royce, that would be key, man. Having 3 great running backs on this team would be outstanding. So I'd be very happy to see that. We can see what other running backs would be available on this round. So you notice I use the running back filter. Derrick Henry's another good choice. He's got a 5-star outlook, fair value, 5 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. So he'd be a good player. Lamar Miller, though, look, he's got terrible value, right? Even though he's got a good outlook, a good reliability, a good consistency, I would not take him here because he's too expensive. He's not worth the pick. He's not going to get you the production you need to win your league. So I will totally steer clear of Lamar Miller. But if Freeman is gone, I would definitely consider Henry. Let's look at the wide receivers for this round. So there's a couple. We got Demaryius Thomas, who actually I don't particularly like. He only has a 3-star outlook, but he does have nice consistency and reliability. Good value, right? But I think I think Sutton is going to really emerge this year, and Sutton would be the guy I would want to own if I'm going to own a Denver wide receiver, right? We got Marvin Jones, who is a little bit better. His value isn't as good, but a 4-star outlook, high reliability, not great consistency. I don't know how interested I am in him, but Chris Hogan is one I would be very, very interested in. Again, another player on a contract year, 5-star outlook, 9 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability, plus Edelman's out for the first 4 games on a suspension, so he really has an opportunity here to establish himself as Brady's favorite wide receiver target. All right, and plus Edelman can't stay healthy anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. But let's see who's available. So is Royce still on the board? Is he still? Yes, he is, and I love this. And this is one of the things about this app that I love is when it comes to drafting, I often say out of sight, out of mind. When you look at this draft board, that's where most people are operating in. They're operating in what they can see. In fact, most of the time they operate like within the the 3, 4, right at the top of the list. They're trying to, which of those 4 guys do I want? But my app doesn't do that. My app's taking you outside of that. And when you're talking about players that aren't even on the visible list of players that are buried, I call them that they're buried on the list, your chances of getting them are significantly higher because people aren't thinking about those players. They're only thinking about the players they see on the list. So this app is really going to help you get beyond, just looking at those 3 or 4 players at the top of the list. You need to look beyond that. When we look at a round like round 5, these are all the players between your 5th round pick and your 6th round pick. So these are all the guys you need to consider, because once you get to your 6th round pick, basically all these guys are going to be gone, right? So who would be the best player for us in the 5th round? And you can see Marvin Jones offers the best value for this round. 4-star outlook, 3 out of 10 consistency, not great, right? We already talked about him. I'm not sure how thrilled I would be to have him as my 2nd wide receiver. But right below him, we got a tight end, Greg Olsen, who I do like this season, despite the challenges of this outlook, right? I mean, on the surface, you think, well, okay, 3-star outlook is not great. 1 out of 10 consistency is terrible. Medium reliability is bad, right? Well, this consistency rating is based off of last season when he got the injury, right? Same with his reliability. The man played 9 straight seasons in the NFL without suffering an injury, and then last year he lost most of the season because he broke a bone in his foot, right? Kind of a freak accident. He appears to be 100% back, and he is Cam Newton's number 1 target, right? Just like Gronkowski is Tom Brady's number 1 target, Greg Olsen is his number 1 is Cam Newton's number 1 target. I want to get him on my team, and I'm willing to overlook the bad ratings here on him because I feel he offers tremendous upside, right? And a solid weekly producer that you can count on each week. So he would definitely be the one I would target on this round, okay? But let's see who else is available. We got Marshawn Lynch, who normally maybe I would consider, but I don't like to take running backs over the age of 28. I just got a bias against him, even though he's in a great situation. I mean, he has a 5-star outlook, 5 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. He could be a solid producer in the flex position, but we've already got 3 solid running backs. I don't really want to get a 4th one. I think we need to focus on other aspects like the tight ends and the wide receivers. So we could also, this might also be an interesting play, right? As our 4th running back, if we wanted to go that route, take Mark Ingram. He doesn't play the first 4 games, so it's no problem. We got 3 other running backs. We can start ahead of him, right? But once he comes back, man, that guy's going to be an RB1 every week. He's going to be a must start every week. That would just be an amazing amount of depth at the running back position. So if Greg Olsen happens to be gone, I think I would grab Mark Ingram instead. We got some players who just don't have a lot of they don't have a lot of value. They don't have a great outlook rating. I'm really not interested in them. So let's jump back here. You can see it's almost my pick again. So we can see, is Greg Olsen still? Oh, there he is. Yeah, I just saw him. He just popped up at the bottom of the screen, right? So only if Annie sees him and takes him, do I need to worry about things? But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab him. So let's go ahead and take Olsen. And let's move on to the 6th round. So 6th round, I'd like to get a second wide receiver. We definitely need one. You can see Marshawn Lynch is at the top of the list. Now, when you look at draft mode, right, there's a little bit of overlap on each of the draft modes. And so when you see a player at the top of 2 consecutive lists, what that means is at this point, your odds of getting him are less than 50-50, right? Because he's right on the cusp of your next pick. So if you really, if Marshawn Lynch was the guy you wanted, and you wanted him more than any other player, right? Should you reach for him? I would say in this case, yes, you should take him in the 5th round as opposed to waiting till the 6th based on where I'm drafting. Now, if it's a different draft position, that could be a different situation. But again, like I already said, Marshawn Lynch is not really someone that I'm interested in, so I'm not really going to look at him. We got some other options here now. Emmanuel Sanders, again, 1-star outlook. I don't really like, he's had a pretty good camp, but I'm just not thrilled with his situation, his age, and again, he's not the wide receiver I want to own. I don't want to own him either, so I'm going to stay away from him. But below him, we got Robert Woods. An outstanding offense, right? Jared Goff and Todd Gurley, and yes, there is Brandon Cooks that's ahead of him on the depth chart, but Brandon Cooks just joined the team. Robert Woods has been playing with Goff since the beginning, right? So they know each other. They've got a better relationship, right? And Robert Woods gets a 4-star outlook, nice value. His value is less than his draft position. 8 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. That's a really nice combination to have for a wide receiver 2. You can also see Devin Funchess here. Now, of course, we already took Greg Olsen, so I'm not really interested in taking another Carolina receiver, especially since I got the number 1 wide receiver on that team, right? If we wanted to go quarterback, here's Matthew Stafford, Phillip Rivers. Those guys are coming off the board at this point. Jacksonville defenses are starting to come off. Look, the Jaguars and the Vikings in the 6th round. That's crazy. People shouldn't do that, but and then you got, here's Rex Burkhead again, Kyle Rudolph, and again, the guys that just don't offer a lot of value. They're just not going to get the volume to be worth the pick this early in the game. So you're gonna, so if I was gonna pick, all right, well, let's go back. Let's see who we have as far as wide receivers go. And you can see there's a couple that have been left behind. Look at this: Marquise Goodwin, Brandon Cooks. There's Robert Woods. And there's Jamison Crowder, who I also very much like, but Crowder's dealing with an injury. I think I'm going to stick with my initial plan. I'm going to go Robert Woods. Again, Brandon Cooks, it's his 3rd team in 3 seasons, so he's not going to be very efficient, and he's not going to be consistent, right? So I want to stay away from that. So let's move on to the 7th round. So we've got our top value pick would be Cooper Kupp, but again, we just took Robert Woods, so I think we don't need to take Cooper Kupp, but he would be a decent choice here. He's got a 3-star outlook, 5 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. Tevin Coleman, now this is someone who I would be very interested in, right? He's got a nice value, contract year, 5-star outlook, 6 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. That I like. Jamison Crowder, who we just saw, he'll probably be gone by our next pick. But he is also a very nice option at this point in the draft. But I do like the idea of taking a 4th running back. I think Tevin Coleman would be the best choice at this point. We can see here there's some there's Phillip Rivers again, and Minnesota Vikings again. Here's a Robbie Anderson who I did love until they named Sam Darnold as the starting quarterback, and now I just hate him. I don't want him. Plus, he's got a potential suspension looming. I don't want to deal with him, so we're not going to worry about that. A couple more defenses, and then here's Kerryon Johnson, another guy doesn't have a great rating. Why? Because his value is terrible. He's being drafted too far ahead of the potential value he can give your fantasy team. We want positive value, and one of the things that most people don't realize, we're just looking at one round of the draft here, right? But look at the difference in value between the top player being taken in this round and the worst player being taken in this round. I mean, it is this colossal gap. Every single round of the fantasy draft is like this, and it's just because of the way players are ordered. It's just very, very much based on speculation and hype. So my app is going to help you to avoid that. So let's jump back here. I see we've got 7 picks. I'm just going to pause till we're within 3, and we'll see who's available. All right, so we're about to come back. Now we got 3 more players, 3 more people picking. So I am just looking here to see if there's anybody that's left behind that might be particularly interesting. And the only thing that I think I might consider is if Phillip Rivers somehow makes it to us at this pick. I would love to have him as my quarterback. It's a little bit earlier than when I like to take him. And it looks like somebody drafted Tevin Coleman right before me. You know what? I'm going to take, sometimes you just got to take what the draft gives you. I'm going to take Phillip Rivers. I think he's a great quarterback option this year. He's going to be solid. That's a great offensive team. So we'll go with that. And let's move on to the 8th round and kind of see what it looks like. Now, Pierre Garçon, a guy that offers fantastic value at this round of the draft. You know what? I might consider him. I usually wouldn't consider him because he's an older wide receiver, but that's an amazing amount of value. I mean, look at that. You're basically getting 5th round value in the 8th round. That's pretty good. And he's got a nice consistency. His reliability is okay. He dealt with that injury last year. Alshon Jeffrey's a guy I just don't trust at all. We've got some defenses. I'm really not interested in taking defenses at this point. We don't need another quarterback, so Jimmy G is not really on it. Not a lot of options this round. I'm guessing that the filter, Jimmy's recommended filters, is taking off a lot of players here. So Pierre Garçon, I think, would be the one to take, but let's see who makes it to us on our next pick. So we got 5 picks till our next turn. I'm just going to pause till we're within 3. All right, sorry about that. It moved kind of quickly there, and it came back to me. And you can see we have some other options here. We got Cooper Kupp and Sammy Watkins. And, Cooper Kupp, I think we might have to take him. Even though we already have Woods, I can always trade one of these guys. Look at the value Cooper Kupp offers. Is it better than Pierre Garçon? Actually, Pierre Garçon offers better value. You know what? Let's go with what we initially thought. Let's go with Pierre Garçon. Go ahead and take him. He will be productive, and hopefully he'll stay healthy. And this is our 3rd wide receiver, right? So I think we're good on that. Now, let's jump to the next round and see who's available. And you can see here at the top of the list, the top value players aren't offering great outlooks. Why? Because all these guys are injured. Nelson Aguilar, Chris Thompson, Andrew Luck, all dealing with injuries. That's, for me, I don't like to draft injured players. I like to stay away from them unless we're really late in the draft. And, we're still early enough that we need to get depth. And so I would bypass all these guys right now. But you can see, here's another defense, Denver Broncos. Now, Tariq Cohen, I think this is the guy we want. He offers nice value at this point in the draft. 5-star outlook, 5 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. I do anticipate that his consistency will be better this year under the new head coach. So that would be good. Here's some nice quarterbacks. We could have totally waited on a quarterback. I mean, look at these great quarterbacks that are still available, right? Mahomes, Ryan, Goff, these are all good choices for quarterbacks. I'm still happy I got Rivers, but, had I to do it again, I probably would have just taken another running back or wide receiver at that round and just waited till now to take somebody else. I do really like Mahomes for this year. I think he would be a fantastic choice. But let's go ahead. Let's grab Tariq. So we got 7 picks. I'll just pause till we're within 3. All right, I'm back. So we've got Tariq lined up, but look at this logjam of running backs, right? That should most of them already be gone, but they're not. They're being ignored right now. And really, none of these guys offer a ton of value except for Sony Michel. And he is dealing with that injury, but he seems to be mostly back from it. And now that we're past pick 100, I'm totally okay with taking a New England running back here. So I actually think Sony Michel offers better upside than Tariq. Maybe Tariq will make it to the next round. That'd be great. Let's go ahead and take Sony Michel here as our 5th wide? No, that's our 4th running back. So that's a nice position to have there. So great. So let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the 10th round. And you can see Tariq Cohen is still sitting here in the 10th round. So I think we got a good chance to get him next round. So that'll be perfect. I'm glad we did not reach for Tariq Cohen. Let's see who else is available. Any decent wide receivers? Now, I do like Kenny Stills. Offers the best value at this point of the draft. 4-star outlook, high reliability. 3 out of 10 consistency is not great. That's like the biggest strike against him. But, Devontae Parker is injured right now. We don't know when he's going to be back. Kenny Stills has a very good rapport with Tannehill. So I think he would be a great choice if we wanted to go and get another wide receiver, which would make sense. Let's see here. Who else is on this list? Isaiah Crowell, I think, would be okay. He does offer some value here, but with Sam Darnold being the quarterback, I foresee all of the Jets players just not being reliable fantasy assets. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to see at the end of the year, Sam Darnold will have a good year, but he'll have like 20 touchdowns and 18 interceptions, right? So that's what I foresee. That's usually what happens with those pocket passing rookie quarterbacks. Look at Wentz and Goff in their rookie years; they were awful, right? So, and they made the whole team awful. So just stay away from that, and you don't need to take that. But there's Tariq again. Sterling Shepard would be probably a nice choice as well. Although I really, really like Kenny Stills here. I think we got to take him. And let's just see what's happening here. So it's just it's 4 picks for us till our next pick. And so where is... There's Tariq. But where's Kenny Stills? Did he get taken already? I hope he didn't. I don't think he did, though. Nah, he's still sitting there. All right, Kenny Stills. So if we look on the list, and we got Tariq. Tariq is still pretty far down here. Kenny Stills is down here. Now, okay, so Kenny Stills, is he going to pop up on the 11th round too? No, he's not. All right. So I'm going to trust this. I'm going to take Kenny Stills now, and let's look at all the other wide receivers too, because there might be some that have been left behind. Wow, Watkins is still on the board. That is surprising. Alshon Jeffrey, no one's touching. That's not surprising at all. So, yeah, I like Kenny Stills better than any of these guys. I might consider Sammy Watkins too. Let's see what happens. Because Sammy Watkins has a seriously high touchdown rate, and I do like the idea of that. All right, Sammy Watkins is still available. You know what? He's been completely ignored. I'm going to go ahead. I will take the advantage there. I'll take him. He's kind of a flyer for me. I normally wouldn't consider him, but he's fallen way farther than he should have on this draft. We're already like 30 points after when he should have been taken. So, and Tariq is still there. Tariq is still on the list. And so I don't know what's going on with why these guys aren't getting picked, but I'm okay with it. It's just gifts for me, right? So what are we at? We are at the 11th round. Let's look at the 11th round here and see what players are available. So at the top of the list, at the top of the value pick, we've got an outstanding option, even though he doesn't look like a great choice, right? 2-star outlook, 2 out of 10 consistency, low reliability, right? Kelvin Benjamin. But this guy... he is the number 1 receiver for the Buffalo Bills. I think 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns is probably his floor, which gives him flex value. And to be able to get someone like him in the 11th round is a tremendous value. I mean, look at his expected production versus his draft position, right? I mean, it's just it's almost too much. I can live with all of this stuff because if my 11th round wide receiver doesn't work out, that's not really going to hurt my team, right? I mean, I want guys that are on the bench that I can rely on, and I think Kelvin Benjamin, being that it's a contract year, that gives him some bonus as well. I got to pump up his outlook a little bit because I like him a little bit better than what the app is showing right now. But I think he'd be a tremendous choice at this point in the draft. Let's look at who else is available here. Let's look at the running backs. So we don't have a lot of great options. I do kind of like Latavius. I do kind of like Marlon Mack, but neither one of them is bowling me over. Let's look at the other wide receivers. Rashard, man, yeah, none of those guys really thrill me. Mike Williams has some upside, but I'm not sure if I would trust taking him this early. I would want to wait on him to get him as like a late round at the end of the draft. We don't need to worry about tight ends. So Kelvin Benjamin would look to me to be the best choice. Who knows? Maybe Tariq Cohen will still be available. Maybe he hasn't even been taken yet. No, he's still there. I mean, if Tariq Cohen is still available, I'm going to take him. But if he's not available, I'll take Kelvin Benjamin. So it's 6 picks till my next turn. I'm just going to pause till we're within 3, and we'll see what's going on. All right, and we're back, and so it's just progressing along. Where is look, Kenny Stills is still available. All right, but we got Tariq Cohen here, so I do very much like taking that. Look at this. No one's touching Alshon Jeffrey. I don't blame him. Chris Thompson, too, man. I mean, those guys, you just don't know when they're going to be back. They're not ready. Oh, someone did just take Alshon Jeffrey. Well, good for them. So we'll go ahead. We'll take Tariq. That's a nice value there. I like the fact that we got him in the 11th round. Let's look to the 12th round here. And maybe look at wide receivers. And I see one that I definitely want to target. Keelan Cole. All right. Now we got guys in front of him, right? But Lockett, Matthews dealing with injuries. Kenny Golladay, he is the 3rd wide receiver in Detroit. But Keelan Cole is the number 1 in Jacksonville. He's the number 1 guy, and so he offers a nice outlook, high reliability, terrible consistency. But that's based on last season when he wasn't the number 1 guy. So he has an opportunity here to really do something, and so. I would love to get him on my team. So I think Keelan Cole would absolutely be my number 1 choice. Let's look at maybe running backs. Marlon Mack, Bilal Powell, Corey Clement, Nick Chubb. None of these guys thrill me, except for maybe Marlon Mack. But again, he's dealing with an injury. So I definitely like the idea of going for Keelan Cole with our next pick. I think that'll be rock solid. And our pick is coming up right now. So this should go pretty quickly. And let's pull him up. Has he been taken yet? He has not. He is still sitting there. And again, it's one of those things, out of sight, out of mind. He's not even on the list here. Nobody's seeing his name. Nobody's thinking about him. He's just a little bit farther down. He's right there. Now, we could wait till the next round to possibly get him, but I'm okay with taking him now. I don't. Let's look at the other wide receivers if there's anyone better. Kenny Stills is still available. Okay, so Kenny Stills, again, was someone who should have been taken 2 rounds ago. His value is significantly better than Keelan Cole's. So let's go ahead. If he's still there, let's take Kenny Stills. That is a gift, man. That is a tremendous, tremendous gift. Kenny Stills, thank you very much. Get on my team. And so let's kind of review how many spaces do we have left to fill. 1 more bench slot, then the defense and the kicker. Okay, so let's review. Let's see what this team looks like, right? So our quarterback is Phil Rivers. Our wide receivers, we got Devontae Adams, Robert Woods, Pierre Garçon, Sammy Watkins, and Kenny Stills. That's very nice. Running backs, Melvin Gordon, Joe Mixon, Royce Freeman, Sony Michel, Tariq Cohen. That's great. Greg Olsen, solid. Okay, so I very much like what's going on here with this draft. Let's look at the 13th round. Who's the best available player? But at this point, there's so many players getting left behind. We're probably going to pick someone who's not on this list. But of course, we don't need a quarterback. We're not really looking at a defense. Of course, there's all this buzz about the Bears now that they did that trade with the Raiders. I don't need a quarterback. Defenses. Let's look. So for running backs, nothing really there that excites me. Wide receivers, Michael Gallup could have some upside. I do like his potential. He's nothing more than a flyer here, right? He's not no value. We don't know. He's a rookie, right? So we don't know what his consistency and reliability is. Doesn't have a great outlook. But who else? Who's going to emerge as the number 1 wide receiver in Dallas? Who is it going to be? Gallup, I think, would be a great choice to take a chance on. We also talked about Cortland Sutton, right? So Sutton might be one that we could see if he is still available. So we're 6 picks till our turn. I'm going to pause till we're within 3. We'll see what we get. Okay, we're back. And you can see Keelan Cole is still sitting there. So let's see here. So we have what's our positions drafted here? So we've got 5 wide receivers and 5 running backs. So let's go ahead and see, are there any running backs I might want to take here at the end? Latavius is still there. Marlon Mack's still sitting there. Wow. There's a lot of guys just sitting here. Jordan Wilkins is going to be the starter for Week 1, man, because Marlon Mack still can't play. Let's go with that. We'll take him. I think that's a good flyer. See if it works out. And then all we have left to take is our defense and our kicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause. I'll come back after the whole team is drafted. We'll take a look at how Yahoo rated the team and how FantasyPros rated the team. I think they're going to like this team a lot. I think this is a pretty darn solid team all around. So anyway, I'll be right back. All right, and we're back, and I just got my email from Yahoo giving me an A on this excellent team. So we ended up with New England as our defense and Daniel Carlson from Minnesota as our kicker, so I'm very comfortable with that. And as far as Fantasy Pros, where are they? Here they are. Ranked us with a second-place finish, only 1 point behind the leader. So, you know, that is playoff contention. That is where I want to be. This is a very nice team to take into the regular season, so I'm very happy with how it turned out. So, again, I encourage you all, go to my website, ffmaverick.com. Sign up for a membership. You can try out the app for free. Try it on a couple of mock drafts. See how it works for you. I think you're going to find it's going to work very well. I know you got last-second drafts coming in the next few days. This is really going to make the difference. It's really going to help you, especially when you get past round 4. Everybody knows all the players in the first 4 rounds, right? But once you get past round 4, who are the best players? Who is the best available player at each pick in the draft? This app is going to help you find that answer, and it's going to help you find it quickly and easily. And it's going to help you find who you should take should your main guy be gone. It didn't happen. It didn't happen a whole lot with our app. I'm sure you noticed that we didn't miss out on a lot of players here. We got who we wanted, when we wanted, and we got some nice value with players that got left behind by the other pickers in the league. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. And happy drafting, everybody. Have a good day.